on? Welcome back to the Watch Tube podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Messer.
And my name is Mike Carmody. They call me the Fresh Rinse. And I've got the cup.
Is that all they call you?
Dang it, man. They call me lots of things. Hey, Justin says that his favorite night of the week, he grabs his popcorn, and it's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Jeremy, happy Valentine's Day. It's me and you, bro. This is as good as it gets.
Happy Valentine's Day, Mike, and happy early birthday.
Thank you. Yeah.
It is my birthday tomorrow.
I am. Tomorrow's my birthday. I'll be 53 years old. And as I like to say, Jeremy, I am one day sweeter than Valentine's Day. So,
nice. Absolutely.
You know what my wife says that I am a leftover from Valentine's that no one wanted. So that's probably more accurate.
That's about right. What's up, everybody? And like you said, Justin said, get your popcorn. Hey, grab your chocolate too, because I know you got some.
Yes, sir.
I know you got some. Get your cake, get your popcorn. Hide your kids, hide your wife. It's podcast time. Let's go.
Oh, it's the worst. That's the worst intro ever to the worst podcast ever.
Oh gosh.
Hey, but we're keeping it true to form, right?
That's right. Hey, Sterling Washington in the house. What's up, partner? Glad to see you.
Oh, look, there's Barry Little.
Barry's in. Hey, Barry, glad you're catching us. Hey, Barry's one of my favorite dudes. I love talking to Barry. Every time I talk to Barry, I can guarantee a couple things. I'm going to have a good laugh, and I'm going to learn something, and we're going to have great fellowship. And I'm stoked to see you guys. Absolutely.
Yeah, so good. We already have a good crowd in the house already.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful.
I'm excited because I know it's Valentine's Day, and I know probably most of you guys are married and got your honeydew list that you have to do and worry about. So, hey, we're glad to have you guys.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Hey, how pathetic is it that these guys are who could be with their spouse are with us? That's pretty bad.
Yeah, well, they love us. We love them. We're happy to be here.
I have not seen my wife in about 2 weeks. It's the longest that I've ever went without being with her, I think. And then she's coming Friday night here to Bristol, Virginia, where I'm at. We're going to spend the weekend together. She's going to surprise her mother. Her mother has her 79th birthday. We're going to spend some time with one another, and then I won't see her again until March 1st. And guess what March 1st is, Jeremy?
March 1st.
It's a wash tube project. It's a pressure washing podcast. So that's the hint. That is March 1st is when pressure washing season officially begins for the Fresh.
It is. And that's a Friday.
Well, it is a Friday, and I'm glad that you mentioned that because my friend Danny Salyer, who is affectionately known as the Mold Ranger, he is from Saltville, Virginia. Danny's pressure washing. We are best friends, and we've been hanging out with one another. He's been here at the apartments helping me every single day. Anyways, he said, that March 1st is a Friday. And I said, well, that gives me an excuse to maybe start on Monday. So I may actually start on the 4th instead of the 1st. But nonetheless, March is upon us nearly, and that's when pressure washing for me begins. Some of you guys who are even in cold weather climates are already washing. I know that a lot of my friends in the Cincinnati-Dayton area are already washing. I talked to my friend Brian. Some of you have seen him on a lot of my videos. He's probably my favorite, or should I say my best wash buddy locally there in the Cincinnati-Dayton area. And he washed some farm equipment today and whatnot. Anyhow, washing is upon us, and it's time to talk about it. I'm ready to talk about washing.
Absolutely, I am too. Speaking of which, I have I've done a few jobs, and I haven't really tried to market. It's just come in naturally. I let it come in. We did a couple in January. I did a couple in February. I've had 2 phone calls today for a post-construction, new construction window cleaning and a barn dominium. It's a wood barn dominium, so it's kind of I'm kind of excited and kind of nervous. I don't say nervous, dreadful, maybe thankful. I don't really know. I don't have a lot of emotions about cleaning wood.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite thing to clean. I don't even
hate
advertise
wood.
that I clean wood anymore. I absolutely
Absolutely
don't
not.
like it, but it's a beautiful home and it seems pretty straightforward. So I've got that lined up. I got 2 estimates to go do on Friday. So we're going to do those in-person estimates because we're slow. And when we do in-person estimates, we seem to
Give me a
close
rope.
more. We close more. We close more.
In-person estimates. Oh God, forget about it. Well, my friend Danny Salyer, I mentioned Danny a few moments ago. He sent out a mass text to his customers, and I think he picked up in just the first day nearly 30 washes for
wow.
March and April. And so I'll be sending out my first mass text this weekend. And so this weekend, I'm hoping to land more. I've got 10 or 11 jobs on the books that have come just by virtue of people calling, answered the phone a few times this week and landed a few jobs. But I'm hoping to see a lot come from my mass text that I send out every February. And I just send out one. I know Joe Deary sends out a bunch throughout the year. I just send out one, and it kind of gets the ball rolling. And maybe I'll update next week. Next Wednesday, I'll update the results of my mass text.
That's fair. Hey, let me ask you a question, Mike, if you don't mind sharing.
Sure.
In this text, can you give us maybe a behind the scenes of what that text, what's that look like when you send that? What's the fresh script?
So I don't have a script, Jeremy. What I do is I show a picture of my legs from the thighs down.
It's the ankles, baby. It's the ankles.
The ankles is what does it. It's what does. I have chicken ankles, but man, and people in my area, they love chicken, you know. So for real, I use the Markate app.
Yeah.
If you do not have a CRM, then I would encourage you to get a CRM. And this is my 3rd year using Markate. I have no intentions of going elsewhere. It does everything I need it to do as a solo operator. And I'm sure that it would if I weren't a solo operator and had many employees. I also use it for Fresh Rinse Media. So I have 2 accounts with Markate. And so I send my mass text through Markate. Markate only allows so many words. And forgive me, Jeremy, you may know, but I do not remember how many words or how many digits that it allows. But my script looks something like this. And now's the time to take notes if this is something that you're interested in, because you may choose to go this route, but you may also maybe change it a little bit to match your personality and so forth. But I say something like this. Hello, everyone. This is Mike with Mike's Pressure Washing. Text the word wash to, and then I give my phone number. I will begin washing March 1st. Now, Danny, and I don't mean to take up too much time with this, Jeremy.
No,
but Danny doesn't have a CRM, and he sends out a mass text through just his phone, just through his contacts, and he has a really long, quite long script, but it details what he washes. You know, his list of services. Obviously, his contact information. He says, I'll be washing beginning March 1st. Get on the books now. But my script is quite small. Very simply, hello, everyone. This is Mike with Mike's Pressure Washing. I'll be washing beginning March 1st. Text the word wash to get on my schedule ASAP. Something like that.
I'm tracking.
Yeah.
I don't know the character. I don't know the character count. I am curious. So while we are talking, I think I may pull my Markate up, and I want to think I think it's like 240 characters. So it's not a lot because time you factor in the spaces and stuff like that.
Yep.
It'd be nice if it's a little bit more characters.
And yet at the same time, keep in mind that we are invading people's time. We
Yeah.
need to get to the point. I'm not in opposition to what Danny does. Obviously it worked. He got nearly 30 washes already, and it's still out there. I'm confident he'll get more. But I'm not maybe just a little disappointed. I'm not discouraged, but 240, 250 characters will get you enough to get the point across. Mark 8 charges a little bit for each text. I don't know what that is, but whatever it is for me, I don't notice it at the end of the day. I always pick up 30 or so washes almost immediately. So I'm good with that. It's nice to start off the year with 40 or 50 washes before you even begin to wash. That's always nice.
It is. I went back, I'm looking, I don't see the actual count. I'd have to go in and actually create a whole new thing to see. But I'm looking, I sent one out in spring of 2022. I did not send one last year. Why I did not send one, I don't know. I will be sending one this year. But just to give you an idea, here's what I said. And this is when I first switched over to Mark 8. It was my second wash season. So mind you, I didn't have a crazy list of numbers or accounts or anything like that. My very first year watching, I think I did 63 jobs, or opportunities or tickets or invoices or whatever you may call it. And a couple of those were repeats on, like, I did a house and then they called me back to do a driveway, or they had a rental property. So some of those were the same people. But I'm looking at it and it just says, heads up, my schedule's filling up fast. Respond now, capitalize, respond now to be at the top of my list, at the top of my pressure washing list. And it's just got my name and phone number. Probably wasn't the best verbiage, but I did get a few responses. So, and I think a few responses out of 54, I think it says 54 people. Because I guess some of those I have were landlines, which is really nice. If you're using it, it charges you, and it'll decipher, I guess, if it's going to a mobile or if it's going to a landline. So you don't get charged. You get charged accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it won't charge you if it's a landline, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, Mr. Power Washing seems to be, in these last few messages, he's encouraging email blasts because it is cheaper. Now, I have found for me that text blasting works best. And I say that I've never done an email blast. Let me just kind of clarify that and maybe qualify that a little bit. I know that a large portion, maybe not the majority, but a large portion of my quotes or requests for quotes come through text. And so that tells me that my client base are text-based kind of people. They just enjoy text, or that's the best way to communicate with them. Now, Joe Deary, some of you know Joe. Joe does a ringless message as well. So someone will get a message on their, I'm sorry?
A voicemail.
Yeah, a voicemail. Thank you.
Yeah.
A ringless voicemail. Now that's well worth the money as well. Their phone doesn't ring. They just get the message, and it's Joe and his Yankee voice, and he's saying something like, "Hey there, this is Joe, Putnam, Connecticut, and I'm drooling with opportunities for you to get your house washed, and soon we'll be dripping SH from the top." No, he doesn't say any of that stuff, but because I'm on his list, I get that message. I'm like, jeepers. He actually makes me want to have him come wash my house the way he talks. But the ringless voice message is a great way to go as well.
Yeah. So I know that my plan is I'm probably not going to do email, because I'm a lot like you in my area. Email is not a big thing. I do collect emails, but it's more so text based or phone call based. So I'm going to send out a mass message for text, and then I'm also going to send out a mass voicemail bomb. So that way I'm getting a couple touches. I'm getting out there. My yard sign should be here Friday.
Nice.
The weather's warm here, guys, and I was outside yesterday and I noticed there was about 10 or 15 robins out in my yard,
Oh,
and
that's good stuff.
so yeah, exactly. I didn't even know that was a thing. And my buddy, he washes, and he was over here, and he's like, "Man, look at all these robins." I was like, "Yeah, they're birds. What do you mean?" He's like, "Dude, spring's here. Like spring is coming. The robins are here. The spring is following." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay." He's like, "You better be
Yeah,
ready
so
to go." I am ready. I'm ready right
I,
now.
I'm beginning to believe that that groundhog thing, because it's warm here in Virginia where I'm at. I am to understand in Ohio it's a little cold, a little too cold for washing, maybe. But then again, some of my friends back home are washing, so maybe they're brave enough to do it, or they're or perhaps it's warm enough to wash. I won't know for a few weeks, but I'm super excited about striking up Jazzy, getting him started, and washing. I've got some big washes coming up. I believe it will be a huge wash season. I just believe it will be.
I think so. I got a feeling. I'm I'm willing it into existence. That's what I believe. So I'm pumped. I am pumped about it.
Well, pressure washing by Sterling Wash. We know Michael Lau. He asked the question, "How do you do the voicemail bomb?" I think it's a great question. I don't know. YouTube is your friend. Joe Deary is your friend. Message him or send him, comment on one of his videos. That'd be your best route, Mike. I really don't know how to do it.
So hey, if you get a chance, Mike, I don't know if you're familiar with Josh Latimer.
Oh, sure.
Josh Latimer's pretty big deal guy, who was in our business as far as like window cleaning and stuff of that nature. I don't believe he no longer does that. He does other things, but he's on YouTube. You can find him, Josh Latimer. He is he's like the voicemail bomb guy. Like radius, he created Sin Gym, right? So that's EDDM, that's voicemail bombs, that's send these people like gifts and stuff for the customers. Like customer service is Josh Latimer, right? So look him up. He's got some really good scripts. He's got a podcast. He's got a YouTube channel, and you can find like the way that he would do it, and it's almost so flawless. It's like, hey, like if we don't hear back from you, we'll call you tomorrow. Like that's kind of how he ends it. Uh, so that way, like they're like, oh God, if we don't call this guy back, he's going to call us again. So I feel like that's pretty genius, right? Like
Yeah.
we need to get in touch with this guy. But real quick, let me pull this up. I don't know if you saw this, Mike. Our good buddy Jonathan Moore. Jonathan, you are in North Carolina, right? Or is that South Carolina? I want to think that's North Carolina. I could be totally wrong. Hey, this guy right here, we need to bring him on here in the future. He is, Jonathan, comment down below. You're 20, I think, right? And he's absolutely killing it. Yeah, North Carolina. Jonathan's North Carolina. But he says you can do a text blast on your iPhone for free and shortcuts for budget friendly guys. So there's really no reason why you ain't sending one, right?
That would be me, the budget friendly guy right here.
Yeah, 20. He's
broke.
20. Hey, Jonathan's killing it. He's got 2 rigs already, 20 years old. He's got a service body build that's sweet and a flat body or a flatbed he just did, and it's extremely nice. I had the pleasure of meeting him at the huge convention this last year and was so stoked about hearing his journey and his story. It was just a feel-good story. I was so excited. But
off topic.
Yeah.
Off topic, okay. Jeremy. Am I correct that Michael Lau made a donation of $19.99?
Yes. I gave him a shout out. Hey, Mike, we greatly appreciate you as always. And hey, that's just another thing, guys. Michael, you've been pretty religious on doing that, and we greatly appreciate you. So, hey, if you're on YouTube and you feel, if you feel led and you feel the need to donate to the cause, we would be more than glad to accept that here on our channels. And what that does is we're using StreamYard to host this, and that's a service fee that we're paying, and that's right about $50 a month. And if you feel like we're bringing you value and you're thankful for that, hey, we would be more than glad to accept that donation to help cover the charge of hosting the podcast. And anything in excess that it costs us to run this, we like to use to reinvest back into the equipment to better serve you and communicate and come across clear, come across just more transparent with you guys. So we greatly appreciate all that you guys do.
And then also, Jeremy, we might add that we are fully capable of accepting donations through Venmo, Cash App. I believe you have that. You can throw that on the script on the screen there. Now, let me say, obviously, it's not necessary, but this actually allows me an opportunity, guys, to talk about something that is very much a soapbox for me. And I don't mean to come across as a rant, but if you'll give me just a few minutes, guys, to kind of share my heart about something that has really been kind of puzzling me a little bit for the last, for quite some time. And that is this. And by the way, let me preface this by saying this is not intended to get political. This is not a political discussion. No need to share your political philosophies in the comment section. It's going to sound political, but it's not. As a capitalist, and I venture to say that most of those of our viewers tonight are capitalists. You are full-blooded American capitalists, and you believe that for a dollar earned is a dollar gained, and you put forth your effort, and you should be paid for those things. You probably also agree with me, and I'm not asking you to, but you probably agree with me that because we are capitalists, we are in opposition to free education. Put a check mark or a yes there if you agree with me that we are, or that you are in opposition to free education. In other words, the government coming in and clearing everyone's debt who's in college, and everyone gets free education. I'm very much in opposition to that. That is a socialist's approach to a worldview and to money and to education. Most of us will take a capitalist view, which is if you signed on the line, then you need to pay for that. We are in opposition to free education. Most of us are. On the other hand, we get on YouTube and we want to get all of our education for free. And not only that, Jeremy, I don't want to speak for you, but I have guys regularly who will send me a text, or they'll private message me on social media platforms, and they'll say, "Can I get a few minutes of your time?" Now, most of you know that I don't take phone calls, and there's a reason for that, and it's because time is valuable. Some of you have said, "Mike, I will pay you for your time. I will pay you for your time." Let me tell you, much respect for someone who would say, "I value your time enough to pay you." But a lot of you, not necessarily anyone in our viewership tonight, but a lot of people in this world, they say, "I'm in opposition to free education, but Mike, I would love a lot of your time, and I want to ask you as many questions as I possibly can so that I don't have to buy a course, so that I don't have to attend a convention or a conference, so that I don't have to pay someone to tell me this information. Would you take your time and give it to me for free?" And let me say, as I end this little rant, you can't have it both ways. I don't promote, Jeremy, I don't promote any one particular course, but if you're in opposition to free education, then you should be very much in favor of paying for the education that you get. And stop, I'm about to preach, stop expecting everything for free. And I'll shut up now. I'll shut up.
Well, you're very much right. Listen, I get it, man. Especially being new, there's a lot that this business entails, and there's a lot to navigate around. There's a lot of lingo that's not understood. So my best advice is to research and research and research. I mean, even when I got on right at, it's been 3 years. This is my fourth wash season. So, 3 years is, let's see, 21, 22, 23. Okay, 4. I don't know, whatever. Who's counting? But man, you can get some really good information in these groups, but I would be weary of who I'm listening to. There's a lot of good channels on YouTube
Sure.
that offer free knowledge, free. I'll say free training, but more or less, if you just watch what someone's doing, and you're a dude and you can do basic dude stuff and apply that principle to what they're doing, you're learning. I mean, let's take Joe for example. I learned so much stuff from Joe when I first started just because I consumed every bit of his content. Every bit. I watched everything. How's he doing this? How's he doing that? How's this happening? This and that. Now, I would communicate, but I never personally reach out to Joe for, I don't even know. I probably watched him 2 years before I text him. I would comment. We would comment back and forth. But that was that. I didn't know because I'm very respectful of people's time. I wish, I want people to be respectful of my time. So I do believe that you can learn most things for free if you will. You have to put it together. You have to figure it out. Now that's the thing about free. It might be scattered here, there, and you have to do all that and actually figure that out as far as how to do that. But that's kind of the caveat. When you're taking up somebody's time, you got to, people's time's valuable. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting lost in what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
but
you hit on the head.
More or less, hey, if you're calling somebody, you're reaching out to somebody, you shouldn't expect them to give you all the time. You should be precise, and you should ask them what you need to ask him. Like, Mike doesn't like taking phone calls, so don't call Mike. Okay, it's that simple. I don't know how he feels about text. He's always say text, but time is valuable. And maybe I have people call me all the time and they want to talk. They want my opinion, want this and that. Listen, guys, I like it. And I've got here and I like talking with the best of them. But when you're asking me for advice and how I did this and how I did that, I try to give it to you. But I mean, I put almost everything out there on YouTube that I'm doing and what I've done. But like, it comes to the point where you get so many inquiries and so many things, but you can tell someone how to do something and they won't do it.
Yeah,
because they're not putting any value on that because
right.
You gave it to them for free. And I'm gonna tell you something right now. This is something that I've learned is that when you pay attention. And I used to get so aggravated when I would hear that. Okay, I was, because I was a new guy. I didn't have any money. I still don't have no money, but I was like, man, I can't do that. I can't pay that. Like, I can't pay what they're wanting. But in all reality, now that I look at something, I'm like, okay, this cost me 2 house washes. This cost me a driveway. This cost me this. So can I go out and get another driveway this week? Can I get another house this week? Right. Okay. Ben Gregory is a prime example of one of the guys that I've talked to probably when I first started. And I'm so thankful that Ben replied back. And it's not like I called and tried to take up Ben's time. I'd shoot him a message. And you know what? If Ben didn't reply back right away, it didn't bother me. I'm looking at Ben. Ben's busy. Ben's running the business. He's successful. It's untelling how many people he has messaged him. But you know what? He eventually messaged me back. But I'm just saying, guys, don't get your feelings hurt. Don't get upset when you're asking someone something and it's and you're not getting the answer you want, or maybe they're not replying, because it's time consuming. And I don't know where I'm going. I'm turning it back over to you. I'm getting lost.
Well, if I can kind of expound upon that emotion that you have right there, that when I first started out, I was the guy on Facebook asking all the stupid questions. Finally, someone reached out to me. Reached. They contacted me and they said, "Stop asking all the stupid questions." And I thought I thought I was asking all the right questions. And then they helped me out. I'm not ungrateful. I am not ungrateful for those in my early days who helped me out tremendously. That being said, what happens so often, and to just kind of expand on something that you said there just a moment ago, people will call and ask for advice. And then when I give the advice, they will say, yeah, I don't think that's the route I want to go. Like, well, see, you just took up a lot of time, and I don't expect you to take every bit of advice, but that could have been a very simple, small text.
Yeah.
You see, and you can ask the same question in text message. And it sounds like we're saying don't ever reach it. That's not it at all. What I'm saying is put value on education. I fixed my garage door. I built a shed. I did all this stuff, free education on Facebook. I'm not suggesting it's not out there. You can learn how to do a lot. But if you're learning from people, if you are learning from people, put a value on that and then allow that person to benefit from the time that they have given you. So it's one thing to be in a jam and say, man, here I am and the house is burning down. How do I put it out? But it's another thing to say, hey, I'd like to take up. It's never 5 minutes. It always says, can I have 5 minutes of your time? It's never 5 minutes. And I always enjoy every phone call. I'm not suggesting I'm not.
Right.
Let me say this very quickly, Jeremy. This will kind of espouse the idea of something that you were saying there just a few moments ago. A gentleman called. He begged for time. I gave him time, and he said, "Which course do you think I should take?" And I told him about one of the, and it wasn't a course, but it was a promo. It was one of the ways. And I even think, I believe it was. We just had him on. Talk to me.
Yeah. Gage.
Thank you. And he's like, oh, that's going to cost too much. And I don't know how much it costs to get Gage Lake to run your Facebook ads. But he calls me to ask me, who should I get to run Facebook ads? That could have been a very simple text. And I said, well, I think you should get Gage to do that. He said, oh, that probably costs too much. I'm like, well, then what was the benefit of this? Right? Like you want something for free. And then he says to me, he says, well, how do you do it, Mike? How do you run Facebook ads? And I said, I'm not telling you how I run Facebook ads, not because I don't want to educate you, not because I don't want you to know, but I told him, I said, you don't want to pay for Gage, but you want me to teach it to you for free. That makes no sense whatsoever. So guys, we'll sum it up by saying this. If you believe that there's value in Cliff, the Pink Flamingo, if you believe that there is value from Austin Davis, if you believe that there's value from Jeremy Messer, send him a Venmo. Buy his coffee. I'll shut up. Buy his coffee.
I'll say buy Mike some Viennies, but I don't know if Mike's eating Viennies right now. He's drinking coffee.
Baby, Vienney sausages.
Oh, yeah, very fair. Hey, and I'm gonna tell you, I've even went as far as this, and this is something that I've done and I don't mean this like I'm trying to weed it out, because that's not what I'm saying. Is that I have set up a calendar on Calendly. So if you want to talk business, as far as in serious business talk, a plan, an action, a next step, what do you need to do? There's a link that it's been going up on a lot of my recent channel videos. So I got that, and I'm just going to throw it in the comments section here. And if you're really serious and if you want to talk, I'm willing to talk, but you'll have to go through this link to book a call, because I only have certain times that I can talk. I'm not available every day. I don't want to be available every day. So there's that. And Mike, I think that might went to your channel too. So I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to do that. But hey, I want to say something about this guy right here real quick. Arnie Ryder. I never really talked to him other than on the channel a couple of times with some comments. But he messaged the other day, commented about a gearbox, brand new gearbox. Something was cracked, didn't know what to do. And I said, hey, dude, call the vendor. Say, hey, this is what's going on. We need this resolved. I just bought this and this is broke. And what happened? He called the vendor and they sent him a new gearbox. Up here early in the comments, he said he just got it today. Yeah, I think if anybody owes anybody a dinner, I say it's probably me owing you a dinner. Even though I do get these little phone calls a lot about these remotes.
I love it.
That's okay. I can't. Ben's good people. Hey, Ben, are we on LinkedIn? Oh, that's awesome. I said the stream on LinkedIn. I didn't know if that was actually working or not, but I like that.
Hey, let's answer this question real fast, Jeremy.
Yeah.
One of our Facebook users, and I'm not sure your name, you might let us know who you are, Facebook user. We don't see it on our end. We don't see your Facebook account. But he says, how fast do you try to have a quote prepared and sent after receiving the lead? Well, let me just answer this very quickly. Most of my leads come from Facebook, the community pages. I've never done paid advertising. Most of my calls and my opportunities, my leads come through Facebook. I do get some from Google as well. And so if someone texts me, then I text them immediately. If they call me, then I try to answer the phone and I try to give a quote over the phone. Unlike Jeremy and my friend Danny Salyer, I do almost all remote estimates. Somebody said Mike uses InstaQuote, and I think that's like the Core 4 thing. I'm not sure, but I don't use InstaQuote. However, most of the time, Facebook user, when someone calls me on the phone and says I'd like to get a quote, they get a quote right then. And as a caveat to that, let me also say that if they say, here's a for instance, this week someone called, they said, Mike, I need my house washed, my roof washed, and some of my concrete washed. I think it was a pool surround. And I said, fantastic. I said, what's your address, by the way, Nancy? I forget her name, but Nancy. And she told me, I pulled it up like right then while on the phone. And I've got a list of things I can talk about. I'm a talker. We talk about the weather, whatever, while I'm pulling that up. And then I say, actually, Nancy, I can actually quote that right now. And I gave her a quote on everything right then. And she said, absolutely, let's do that. And then she said this, Mike, I also have a pergola in the back of my home. How much to wash that? And here's a good one for you guys. Use this one. It'll get you out of a lot of jams. I said, Nancy, I can't see the pergola and I don't say Google Earth. That's too cheesy. I say, I cannot view that with my online program. Do you hear that? My online program. I said, however, and I do this a lot. I say, however, I promise you that if you like the price of the house wash, you'll not be disappointed with my price on the pergola as well. I promise I will be both fair and reasonable. When I use that terminology, Facebook user, they love that. And by the way, they're tired of calling around. They don't want to call anybody else. Once they get the fresh, you know the phrase, once you go fresh, you don't go back. Or I don't know.
You don't go stale.
Yeah. I close almost everything over the phone. That's just the way that I do it. Jeremy, you may take time to answer that question.
Yeah, let me just get on that. I'm going to say it depends, and it depends on me. So when the lead comes in, I immediately reach out to them to fill it out. Sometimes I'll text. If it comes in through text, I'll text. Mm-hmm. Now, if it comes in through my lead form, I call. Mm-hmm. Or if they've called me, I answer or whatever. So I like to get on the phone, and it depends on how busy I am as far as in do I have time to do the estimate? How quickly do they need the estimate? So it just depends. It just depends on that right there. I like to do it as quickly as possible. Like I said, I had a call. I had a call today about windows, and I had a call about a barn yesterday. Now, these are the next town over. I said, hey, I'm going to be in your area Friday. I said, I would love to come out and look at it because it's wood. I need to look at the wood. I need to look at the barn. Right? It's wood. It's not vinyl. It's different. It's hemlock. So he's like, absolutely. Friday works fine. Woman calls me today. same area, actually the same road. And I said, well, ma'am, I said, I actually have another estimate scheduled for Friday before lunchtime. I said, I'll be in your area. Will it be okay if I stop by and look at your house? Because first off, it's a new construction. There's no images. There's no Google, nothing. It's brand new. She said, absolutely, that'll be fine. But I think what it was is how quickly I answered the phone and how I presented myself on the phone. Because sometimes you'll get, well, no, that's not soon enough, or I need it now. And so it just depends on the situation.
Sure.
Sometimes I do give quotes over the phone and online. So it just depends. It depends
Right.
for me. That's how I do it. But I seen something. What did you just have pulled up?
Uh,
Someone I answered the phone. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, good mood food, dude. I feel like I remember that.
Good
But
mood
absolutely,
food, dude. I
that's a
like that.
that's a, say that three times real fast.
Oh, fantastic! And by the way, I've
Absolutely.
lost 15 pounds since starting this health food kick, so I'm happy about
Nice,
that. Now here's
nice.
another thing that you might some of you guys might find this to be beneficial. Let's say that I'm on the phone. Nancy called, and she's got something I don't feel comfortable quoting over the phone. Jeremy, case in point, there would or something of that nature.
Yeah,
I will say something like this. I'll say, Nancy, normally I can give you a quote right over the phone. But would you do me a favor? And I always say, I just kind of have this scripted. Nancy, because I'm driving, would you care to send me your address? And if you will, attach your name to it so I'll know who it's coming from. And as soon as I get to a safe place, because I don't want to text, right? If I'm on the phone and
right,
I'm driving, I can't text. And
right,
they love that. They respect that. Even if they're addicted to texting while driving, they respect people who don't. And I'll say, because I'm driving, I don't feel comfortable in viewing your property at this moment. But if you will allow me to, when I get to a safe place, and that might be later this evening, would you mind if I called you back? Or, Nancy, if you text from this phone, I can simply text you a quote. They love that stuff. They
yep,
love it.
yep. Uh, I totally agree with you. I wanted to bring this up, and I don't know if you can even remember this, Mike. It's been so long for you, but for me, it wasn't that long ago. I still remember I mean, you probably remember the first house you washed. I remember the first house I washed, and so So what I did, and this is what you need to do, is if you, is it Fernando? Is that how you say that? I'm a country boy. Forgive me, but
Yeah,
the first
Fernando.
thing that Fernando. So the first thing that I did when I decided that I was going to start a pressure washing business is I was going to let everyone know what I was doing. Okay. Everyone knew that, hey, Jeremy is now going to be doing Kentucky Wash Pros. He's going to be doing pressure washing. And what I did is, okay, I went and I cleaned my house and I got some pictures of how nasty it was and how clean it was. I did a sidewalk here, a sidewalk there, something simple. I just got a few pictures. And my advice is go out and clean your family's house, someone in your family, maybe one of your very best friends, someone that you'd feel comfortable cleaning something for free. And what you got to do is you got to position that as in, hey, let me clean your porch, let me clean your driveway, maybe let me clean your house, depending on what you need as far as media and marketing material, in exchange for a 5-star review and letting me use these pictures for marketing. And so the first one I got was actually a woman that my wife worked with that we're friends with. She let me clean her house. That was the absolute first one that I did. And I had a select handful of advertising, and I had a couple yard signs that got put out. But you know what I did, Mike? I put those pictures onto my Facebook. And Gage, you're on here, so I think you can appreciate this. I didn't really know how to set up my Facebook ads, but I watched some videos, and like I said, I dove deep into watching these videos, and I put on a Facebook ad. And you want to know what my actual first paying customer outside of that was? It was a $600 house wash. You want to know what my second paying customer was outside of outside of the family friends area was a $1,800 church building wash. So, and I had nothing no more than a 3.5 gallon minute machine. So it's very possible. But the way I got my first leads was friends and family and letting everyone know what I was doing. And then I went to Facebook ads. That's what I did. So I am a believer in paid ads.
Yeah. My first leads, Fernando, my first leads came through. I'm going to date myself here. Craigslist. Back then, Facebook Marketplace, as it is now, wasn't so much a thing. I don't know that it was a thing. And Craigslist was huge 10 years ago. This is my decade year. So I put an ad on Craigslist. Now, I got a lot of tire kickers, but I got my first house washes through Craigslist. I immediately learned how to post ads generically and organically on Facebook. And I've turned to that, and I've done it ever since. So again, the majority, more than half of my leads come from my Facebook marketplace or community site, community pages, community groups. I forget how you say it. That's where more than half my leads come from. That doesn't mean that's where most of my work comes from. It's where most of my leads come. You get a lot of tire kickers that way as well. And I close between 65 and 70% of my leads. And I'm to understand that's a good wheelhouse to be in. But great question. Great question, Fernando.
Absolutely. Do we have any more questions? I feel like we got a slew of questions way back. So I'm trying to wade through that right there and look at this. Ooh, let's see. There's a bunch of stuff coming in. we're getting a lot of CRM questions, and I think we've kind of talked that Mike uses Markate. I use Markate. I'm a big fan of it. Now listen, I'm not going to lie. I like it, but I would be open to exploring other options. If I felt like if it flowed better, or if I liked it a little bit better, the interface is great in my opinion on Markate, but my biggest thing is the app is fine. The app works just fine, but I love it when I use it on desktop even more. And I don't know if Mike has experienced that or feels the same way, but I love using Markate through the desktop. There's just so many more things that you have access to as far as like reporting and different stuff that you can actually open up and see. So that's exactly the comment I was looking at. I don't know if I put that up or if you did, but
I did.
Yeah, okay. But that's just where we're at.
So I will say that and echo that on the CRM. I use Markate, but Jeremy, it does everything I need for it to do, which is really to help me to schedule when jobs come in. It allows me to communicate with the customer. It allows me to give them a quote. It allows them to sign off on a contract, if you will, or a quote. And then it reminds them the day before that I will be there the next day. I can manually, with a push of a button, tell them that I'm en route, that it will be 10 minutes or 15 minutes. It allows me to tell them that I have started the job, so I don't have to go knock on the door and tell them. You wonder how I finish jobs so quickly. It's because I don't spend a whole lot of time. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't spend a lot of unnecessary time with the customer. That's a whole nother conversation. But Markate allows me to do that. Others will as well. But for my $50 a month, it does everything I need it to do. So I'm grateful for it.
Right. Absolutely.
Mr. Pressure is correct.
Yeah. Hey, what's Mr. Power Washington's name?
I thought it was Mr. I don't know. I think it's Mr. Coolest dude on the planet or something like that. I don't know.
He's going through a trailer build. He's going through a trailer rebuild right now. If you guys want to check that out.
But check that out.
See, listen.
You wonder why the white socks and brown shoes. That's why I close so many jobs. So there you have it. Bet you want to show me yours, Jeremy.
Yes. Listen. Hang on. Wait, which one is it?
Oh dear God, help us. Here it goes. Hey, everybody, get your phone out. Screenshot this. Post this.
I can't get it up here, Mike.
Lord, you can't get your fat. Woo! Yeah, baby.
Look at this scar. That's a sodium hydroxide scar. That poor pitiful me was pouring out some sodium hydroxide after I took my boots off out of a 5-gallon bucket, and it splashed up on my leg, ran down my leg. I go grab a wet rag and I'm cleaning it off, but I didn't know that it had already got the top of my sock line.
Oh yeah, it'll
do it. 25 minutes later, then the skin just peeled off.
You can't pour enough water on it. You know, yeah. No. SH Burns will do the same thing.
Absolutely. I'm trying to keep up with Gage. He's on YouTube. He's on Facebook. And I also want to point this out. Hey, he's got a good video on his YouTube channel. If you guys want to check him out. And we're talking about marketing. So if you're not subscribed to Gage's channel, go ahead and go on over and check him out. He's got some good content on there, especially with marketing and sales. He's I don't even know. I don't even know if words can express what he is. He's killing it. He's great.
Yeah, he really is. Okay, can I say this real quickly, Gage? Gage, listen to this. Someone told me this. Man, I can't believe they said it. Someone told me this week. They said I'm old school. This is what they said, quote unquote. I'm old school, and they said I don't know how to use Facebook. Do you recommend anyone? I said, yeah, I recommend Gage Lake. And they said, but isn't he 20? I said, what does that have to do with it? They said, he's too young to understand all that stuff. I said, you just said that you are old school and you don't know how to use it. Let me just help you guys. This is truly, it's not meant to prop up Gage. But if I'm going to learn from anyone these days, now I'm 53 tomorrow. Put our Venmo back up there if it's not for my birthday gifts. No, I'll be 53 tomorrow. If I want to learn something that's hip, savvy, whatever I don't know what the language is. I'm old school as well. I'm finding the youngest dude or dudette out there to teach me how to do things tech. I'm not asking the old guy. I want to know what's going on. And it's not, listen, a lot of the young guys who are coming on the scene today, they were birthed with social media platforms. They understand it. Get the youngest, most savviest young person you know who's got more time than anybody else, who's got more experience than anybody else already because again, they're birthed from the womb with understanding, and they can help you more than old timers can. I'm not discounting old timers. I'm just saying that if you don't know how to do it, find someone who does. And most of the time, young guys can help you often far more than the old timers can.
Absolutely. He said it perfectly. Age is nothing. Maturity is everything.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a dandy quote, son. That's a dandy.
Yeah, screenshot that one.
Absolutely, save that one. Let me save that one. Absolutely. Let's see here. Got that one. So this guy, where'd he go? Off topic. Here we go. Here's a good question. Off topic. Anyone has any experience with air diaphragm systems? Pros and cons. Seems like some guys like them for the no runoff aspect for roof cleaning. So, hey, let me give you Ace Superior. Let me give you a little bit of advice. I've never ran an air diaphragm. I have a friend that does. It's not a roof. I don't think it's a Roof King or anything like that. It might be. That's a Gerald Vest product thing. Gerald's the Roof King. He cleans all kinds of roofs, and he runs air diaphragm, and he believes in it heavy. But let me give you a tidbit piece of advice about roof runoff. Don't oversaturate your roof with whatever you're using to clean it with, and you won't have runoff.
Yeah.
I've cleaned roofs with gas roof pumps and never had runoff.
Right.
You just got to know how to use whatever you're using. I've had 12 volts. I have a 12 volt and a gas roof pump, but I can do that in a sense, in a way, and not have runoff with it. I don't know that I would switch from air from a 12 volt just for the because I don't think it's cost effective. It might be. I don't know. But that was my give. That's my take on the air diaphragm. I've never used it, so I can't speak to that, but I can speak to the runoff on the other ones.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said there. I've never ran air diaphragm. I know those who do and swear by it. But what you said about runoff is 100% correct. Mr. Power Washing said, Mike, what kind of mounting block do you have for your pressure washer quick connect on Jazzy, the 3/8? He says the only 3/8 unloader blocks I see are the 90 ones. Call Russ Johnson at Southside Equipment. Tell him that you need the unloader block that's brass, that is a through unloader block, a little bit cheaper than the stainless one, and he can help you out there. Just tell him I don't want the 90 degree. I want the I don't know what you call it, a through. That's what I would call it. Just goes straight, and he can help you out there. They're brass and a few of them.
Are you talking like? It's technically a 3-way, right? But the top's plugged off. Is that how you do yours, Mike?
So I have that, and then I have the brass one as well. I'm trying to picture it in my head. It's been so long.
So the one on your tree, for say, is the 3-way one that
is the 3-way.
You cap the top off, but the other, I understand what you're saying now. Yeah.
There's a brass one that only has an in and an out, and I think that's what you're looking for there, Mister. I think you can find it. Yeah, you'll find that from Russ Johnson.
They're not on Russ's website. You got to call him. You got to call him. A shout out to Barry. If you're worried about roof runoff, get some of that Mako Maximizer. I've used it. It's the real deal. I got a video on it. Check it out.
Screenshot that guy. Throw that back up there if you don't mind. Screenshot that, everyone, and that is Barry's product. And while he's throwing out a plug there, that is the real deal stuff.
That's the real deal. Hey Barry, if you're still on here, buddy, tell us the website. I don't want to mess that one up, and we'll throw it up on here. But real quick, let me bring this up. A Servant Soft Wash. The best way to get in touch with Gage is get him on Facebook. He's got a YouTube channel. Maybe you can comment on that. But find him, Gage Lake. He's in the Facebook groups. You can find him in the WashTube University Facebook group. He's in there. Or just simply go and find Gage Lake with GML Media. And Gage will get you squared away 100%.
Out of the toolbox Tinker, he wants to know what my favorite flavor of Vienna sausage is, or as Jeremy says, Viennes. Barbecue. Don't ask stupid questions. It's don't ask stupid questions, man. It's barbecue. Everybody knows that.
Barbecue.
And tomorrow's my birthday.
I never knew they were flavored.
Oh yeah. Listen, man, I can teach you some stuff. I
was so poor. I only ever had the plain ones. So
yeah, you're old school. Us young Turks, and we know what's going on.
I had the Vienna sausages. Okay,
dude, I've thrown. Listen,
how do you say it?
Vienna. That's how you say it. You need to.
It's
Vienna. So, but I will tell you guys, heads up. There's a real golden nugget for you. Put a can of Vienna sausages, whatever flavor, into your air fryer for about 3 minutes.
I bet that would be good wrapped in bacon.
Oh, you're reading my mind, dude. Tomorrow's my birthday. I don't know if I mentioned it. Tomorrow's my birthday.
Yeah, tomorrow's your birthday. Absolutely.
Well,
here we go. Vienna weenies. He knows. He knows.
That's right. I like
He's on Team Wash Pro on this one.
That's right. No doubt.
Has this turned into? Is this a cooking show now? I mean,
yeah, Gage Lisa, I love this cooking.
Let me say something. I didn't get this big by not cooking.
So I've got to say this. What if you're a YouTuber, if you enjoy making YouTube videos, all you have to do is throw out something different. Like if I had a year and a half, 2 years ago, whenever I posted a video of me eating Vienna sausages, if I had a biscuit, people would have been sending me biscuits. I have received cases of Vienna sausages. In my life, I don't eat a lot of them, but because that's now what I'm known for, because I posted a video of it, I should have put steaks. I should have been eating a steak, man. Stupid me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm telling you, if we can, I don't know, maybe I told you this at Christmas time. I was in Walmart and they had, what was that? It was a Spam Christmas ornament. And I was like, man, I kept looking for a Vienney Weenie one. I was going to mail it to you, but I never did find one.
Oh man, that'd have been a treat. No doubt. Well, it has been an hour since we've been on. I'm game to stay on a little bit longer. If anybody has a technical question, a question about how to get leads, how to sell jobs, a wash question, we'll stay on a few more minutes, and then we'll hit the
talk about post inspections. So post inspection for me, 2 ways. If the homeowner's home, knock on the door. Hey, we just completed the project, your house wash, whatever we're doing. Do you want to come check it out? I always say, do you want to come check it out while we're here? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And sometimes I'm sure it looks good. So I'm like, okay, I'm sure it does too. So, but if it's, if they're not home, I take pictures and I send pictures and let them know that we've completed it. So they'll get the before and afters. And sometimes I get real good luck with them using those before and afters. When I ask them to post a Google review on my page, and they'll use those pictures, or they'll go to Facebook and they'll post a review or post a thing on their timeline tagging me and using those photos as well. But I always like to get them to do the post inspection walk around if they're there. That way they can't call me back and was like, well, this happened or that happened, or you missed this, or what happened here, or something, yada, yada, yada. We don't really get that anyways, but that's something that can happen. Anything different on your end there, Mike?
Yeah, I will tell you that in 10 years of washing, I've probably had 10 post inspections with an actual customer. I just don't have that a lot. Now, there's a couple of things that allow me to not do. I say allow me as if I don't want to do. I think post inspections are great if the customer is home, especially if you want to upsell something. The majority of my customers are not at home. I don't see a lot of my customers, which, by the way, is why I don't do very many in-person quotes, because most of the people that I work for are at work. And by the way, if they feel good about me as a washer, like, quite honestly, it's how do I say this without sounding like I'm bragging? I mean, I don't mean to say it like I'm bragging, but my phone personality, my text personality, and even my voicemail. If you were to call my phone, I get so many compliments on my voicemail.
It's epic.
You called the other day, Jeremy, and you got my voicemail, and you're like, dude, that was crazy. Before I show up, they feel really good about the wash. So if they're home and I knock on the door and they come to the door and I say, Nancy, thank you for the opportunity that you gave me. You guys have watched, a lot of you have watched my videos where I've got my GoPro on there, and you can testify that that's one of the first things I say. Nancy, thank you so much for the opportunity you gave me today. They just feel comfortable already with me being on site. From time to time, they'll say, would you like for me to go around with you and take a look? And I'll say, sure, if you got time, we'll take a look. And we will do that. Most of the time, I don't do post inspections with the customer because they just act like they don't need it. But I will close out with this with the customer. I will close out by saying, I will say, now listen, Nancy, when time allows, take a hard look. If you see anything whatsoever that you would like for me to come back and touch up or something that I've missed, I won't hesitate to come back. What's the need for a post inspection at that point? So,
Right.
yeah, I don't do a lot of them.
Absolutely. Let's see here. I got something here that's very true. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? Here we go. Good question. Ever lost a review on GMB? I've probably lost 10 to 15 over the years, and it was really bad. Like my first year and a half ish, 2 years. I right now I'm sitting at 90, and I should be sitting well over 100, and they're just gone. I don't really know. Can you get them back? Maybe you can. How do you get them back?
You will have to contact Google, and there is a route. Forgive me. I actually asked this question at the Huge this past year, and that's how I know that you can, because one guy told me that he, the guy who was doing the speech or whatever on Google, he said that he actually sat down, called Google, explained his situation, and one day he got 30 reviews back. Now I looked the other day, I think I have 266 Google reviews. I promise you, or I'm confident that I have lost reviews, but more so, I have not gotten the reviews that I was told by the customer they gave me. So a customer many times has said, hey, I gave you the review, and I just say, well, thank you very much. And I don't tell them that I don't even see it. You know, I don't want to bother them with that. But I've got 266 that I do have. I venture to say I'd be over 300 if I would have gotten all the reviews that people actually gave me.
It's funny that you say that, because I've also had that happened with someone that I know decent enough to, like, I'll say, hey, did you leave me a review? They said, yeah, we left it. And I was like, oh, I didn't know. I said, it hadn't come across yet. I was just wanting to make sure that you left it with the link I sent you. And then they'll pull that link up, and they screenshotted it, and there's their review on their end. There's the review, but on my end, there is no review. So something is not right in that. So, absolutely, make a comment. I always comment on your reviews, absolutely, and comment, and always be like, if it's a house wash, thank you, Karen, for letting us wash your house today, and Corbin, Kentucky, it was our pleasure to serve you.
Yep.
And I always say it's my pleasure. I don't know. When I started this business, I had that Chick-fil-A business mindset. It's always their pleasure, and it's always going to be my pleasure. So that's kind of our core value here, and my mission statement is kind of in line with that.
As corny as it is, I use the phrase, it was my joy. Same difference.
Absolutely.
It was my joy to I'll say something like, thank you, Nancy. It was my joy to pressure wash for you today in Westchester, Ohio. I'm super grateful for the opportunity that you gave me. Feel free to call me back out for any pressure washing needs that you have. Keywords there, and Google loves that stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, Michael, they can add pictures as well.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Michael asks, how are you asking for reviews? You care if I take that one, Jeremy?
Go ahead. You got a good spill.
So I do. I ask in advance for Google reviews. Nancy, if I do you a 5-star job, will you give me a 5-star Google review? The wink helps. My legs help. All that helps. But that's my spiel. Nancy, if I give you a 5-star job today, or do you a 5-star job, will you give me a 5-star review? And then I'll remind them at the end. I also have on my 5x7 card, I have a QR code that links them to my Google review. I will also send them, at the end, I'll say, do you mind if I send you a link? And they say, no, I don't mind at all. That doesn't mean you're going to get the review, but also my CRM, when I get to the truck and I hit the complete button, because they just gave me a check or what have you. I hit the complete button, or whenever they pay, I hit the complete button, and it automatically sends them a request for a Google review. Yeah. Mark8 does that for me. I pay $10 a month. Yeah, I pay $10 a month for that upgrade.
Yeah. I'm a lot like you. I don't say if I do a 5-star job, can I get a 5-star review? I just assume I'm doing the 5-star job. So when they do the walk around with me, and we've killed it, right? We've killed it because that's how we want to be. We want to under promise and over deliver. And once we've done that, I'm just like, I said, "Are you satisfied? Are you happy?" "Oh yeah, absolutely." "Well, can I go ahead and text you a link to our Google page, our Google review page, and would you leave me a 5-star review?" I don't say, "Will you leave me a review?" "Will you leave me a 5-star review?"
Yes.
Because I want to plant that in their head. That's important. Making sure that you use that language in that.
And then to add to that, to use emotions to your advantage. Don't we all know that everyone loves to support small businesses? And so I will say something to the effect of, my small business thrives on these Google reviews, on these 5-star Google reviews. You hear the terminology there. My small business thrives on these Google reviews. If you could do that, it would help me immensely. Thank you, Nancy. So there you have it. Yeah, Gage, I will do more of those. I've done some of that with the head cam. I will do more this year.
That's a good idea right there. That's a good
idea. Tony was asking what GMB stands for. There really is no more GMB. That's old school terminology. It stands for Google My Business. Now it's Google Business Page.
Yeah. So, hey, Carrie's another Kentucky guy here. He's talking about that bump card, the NFC card. That's a thing that Gabriel had on here. I forgot to order one. I got to get me one ordered. I'm going to order me one here soon. Maybe tonight when we get off of this. But that's a good thing to have. Google reviews over Facebook reviews, I'm assuming. I like both. I prefer Google because that's the Google My Business that's key to me as far as that. But I also do have Facebook reviews. I think I have about 15 of those, which is, I feel like it's probably fair. But I share my Google reviews on my Facebook page.
Yep. If I feel comfortable and the conversation leans in that direction, is it Mista? I'm just going to say Mista. Then what I will do, I will say, Nancy, does your neighborhood, if it's a neighborhood, Nancy, does your neighborhood have a Facebook neighborhood group? And she'll say yes. If she says no, then she says no. But if they say yes, I can't get into that group because it's your neighborhood and I don't live in this neighborhood. But I will tell you, if you could help me out, I just can't tell you how much I would appreciate that. My small business thrives on information that people give to others. If you would take some before and after pictures, I already have the before and after pictures. If I send those to you, would you care to put those on your neighborhood page? Man, I would really appreciate that. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but they'll never say no.
Yeah, you'll get the feel. That's person to person, and you'll get the feel in the conversation with that person.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm telling you what, if you can, and I'm gonna say they're not everyone, but some people you get are going to be those. They're going to be like a brand ambassador to you. Mm-hmm. Pretty much. What does Joe call that one guy? The mayor. He's got he's not a mayor, but he's got a guy that he calls the mayor, and he's pretty much that dude in the subdivision that knows everyone and always gives everyone advice or recommendations and this and that. And he's got Joe so many jobs. And I've also got people like that. I've never shouted them out or nothing of that nature. But if you can get that brand ambassador, that loyal customer, they're going to do more for you than what you can do for you, as far as in getting you more people in a certain area, a certain neighborhood, a certain HOA, or wherever you're at. It makes a difference. So if I could say anything, when you're building your business, customer service above all. I think that's what that'll help you stand out so much.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Because let's just face it, Jeremy. You can't wash a house any worse than I can, and you can't wash it any better than I can. Like,
Right.
like a clean house is a clean house. I hear people say that a lot in Facebook groups and whatnot. They'll say, I charge so much more than everybody else because I do a much better job. First of all, I don't know how you could know that. And secondly, a clean house is a clean house. And the customer, for the most part, most of the customers, they want the green gone. And if you can get the green gone, here's where you elevate yourself over the competition is by winning them. Win the customer. And you win the customer by the experience that you give them, right? And am I right, Gage?
No,
you're for this. People have given, well, you know what? The service industry itself has given itself a bad reputation. People are scared to death of customer service in any industry, in service industry. So whether it's the plumber, the electrician, the lawn service guy, the pool guy, and the pressure washer, we all have a bad name. They already feel uncomfortable. If you can win them, you've won them for life. They're not going anywhere else for $25 cheaper. They're just not going to do it. In fact, they're not even going to, the next guy who comes and knocks on their door, they're going to say, I already have a guy.
Yeah.
And that's because you've won them, not with the quality wash, but with your personality and the wash experience as a whole.
Absolutely. My dude, Josh Latimer, just commented truth on that. That's a big deal.
I just
Josh, appreciate you turning in, brother. Absolutely.
Josh, we mentioned you earlier. Josh, we mentioned you and your books and your speaking engagements and so forth. We really appreciate you commenting. Thank you so much, buddy.
Absolutely. I've learned so much from this guy right here. I mean, deep diving and there again, I just spent a lot of time on his podcast, his YouTube channel, and I've just picked it up. But hey, real quick, Mike, I was working today, and something I've never done for my business is a mission statement, and that might be baloney to a lot of people. But I was thinking, I was like, as I'm going on and I'm growing, like, what is Kentucky Wash Pros? What do we want to be for? I'm working on the core values and this and that, and that's just something I've never really set up. So this is what I wrote. I'm going to share this. I've never shared this with anyone. Kentucky Wash Pros mission statement that I've come up with today is to be America's best pressure washing service business at winning and keeping customers. I don't want to be the best house wash, the best pressure washer. I want to keep and win customers.
I love that. Dude, that's fire right there. Very well said.
Yes. Yeah, Josh Latimer's voice bombs. Man, Josh, if you're still on here, we were just talking earlier about doing ringless voicemails, and I said that you had some of the best scripts or the best just off the tongue verbiage that I've seen or heard anyone talk about on the ringless voicemails, and I can absolutely appreciate that.
Yeah, early on, Michael Lowe, he says, I learned about Joshua from Bobby Walker. Years ago, Bobby was I think he had a man crush on Josh, and that's how I found out about Josh as well. Good stuff, great books, great content all around. You will not mess up with Josh Latimer.
Yeah, Bobby is the man.
Yeah. Bobby is the man.
I've learned a lot from Bobby. Bobby's got a lot of good info out there.
Well, we're talking about mission statement there. We're talking about mission statements, and one of our mantras on this weekly podcast is, you'll notice, guys, you'll notice that we are a clean podcast. We choose to keep it that way. We can't control what our guests say, and we don't even want to control what our guests say. You are adults. You're adults. You can be challenged by what people say, or you can dismiss what people say. I want to say this real quickly: eat the meat and spit out the bones. Eat the meat and spit out the bones. If we have guests on our show and they use language that you're just not keen with, eat the meat, spit out the bones. And that being said, you notice that we are clean. We are clean. That's just who we are. We're not promoting that. We're not trying to be a clean podcast. We're not in opposition to those who do things differently than the way that we do things. But at the end of every podcast, we close in prayer. I believe it's my week to pray. And throughout the podcast, we failed to mention it today, Jeremy, but you can give your prayer requests, and we'd love to take those to the Lord. We're believers in Christ, and that's who we are as people, and that's our worldview. We take that into washing. We take that into our marriage. We take that into everything. So, our little split.
I think it's fair to say, Mike, that we're Christians, but this is not necessarily a Christian-based podcast. Would you say?
Right.
Would it be fair to say that? This is a business-based podcast that the host just happen to be Christians. So, we're welcoming of all people. And I just want to say that my buddy Nick, we're buddies, and we talk, and we've exchanged, we've talked quite a bit. And someone has said something about the way that he talked. That's just Nick. And like Mike said,
right.
You don't have to pick up what Nick's putting down. So if you don't like it, just go on about it. But anyways, we'll just leave it be at that. But I think if we don't have any more questions, Mike, if it's your turn to go in prayer.
You had a 12-hour work day. I had a 12-hour work day here at the apartment. I'm beat, man. I have laid flooring. Myself and Danny, we laid flooring all day today at the apartments here. I'm not going to show it to you, but my back is out, and I'm going to be out. So I'll close in prayer, and then we'll see you again next Wednesday, Lord willing, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The worst podcast ever, and we hope that you enjoy it. All right, I'll close in prayer. Let's do this. Father, it is in the name of Jesus that we come to you. As always, we believe that the name of Jesus is the name that is above every name, and that one day every knee shall bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is the Lord, to the glory of the Father. And who are we that we should be able to even have an opportunity to pray? We take this as an opportunity to lift up the name of Christ, to close out this podcast for your glory. We pray that our fellow washers are benefited by any education that we might be able to give. And Father, we pray that we do it always for the right reason, and that is to help people, to help families, and to be an encouragement to our fellow washers. We pray for their safety. Many of them are in warm weather climates, and so they're out and about, they're doing their thing. We ask, Lord, that you would have a hand of protection and provision over their life, that they can use this profession to benefit and provide for their families, and that not only can they do that in a casual way, but they do it in an abundant way, that they would have abundance in their businesses as they are out doing it for your glory. We ask all these things in Christ's name. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Signing off. Out of here.
Peace.
Bye-bye.